Hey DFS fans, welcome to the lineup show. I appreciate you watching. We've got our first ever game in Spain this Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Going to be in Madrid, from my understanding, and it is the Washington Commanders at the Miami Dolphins. And there's quite a few good matchups in this game, so I'm ready to get started. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet for you guys. There are a lot of matchups and players that I like in this game, but there's also quite a bit that I don't like. So there was some difficulties, I guess, if you want to put it that way, in creating my lineup, just because there's not enough salary cap to play all of the players maybe that I would want, but there's also not that many players that I actually want. So we're going to start off. My favorite on the slate is kind of probably going to be obvious. He's going to be my captain, most likely, as if I can make it work salary wise, is Devon Achane. Put up 43.5 fantasy points against the Buffalo Bills last week. He is averaging 22 fantasy points a game. And his matchup is pretty awesome in this game. So Washington's 24th against the running back and 24th against the rush. So he is set up in a great spot here. Don't see why he won't want to do good this week. Don't know that I expect him to put up 43.5 fantasy points again, but hey, anything's possible, right? Next, we got Jalen Waddle. He put up 19.4 fantasy points last week, and 3 in a row in double digits. He's averaging 14.6 fantasy points a game. The Commanders are 30th against the wide receiver and 31st against the pass. So he's, on paper, got an even better matchup than Achane. I just expect Achane to have more production and usage. But you also have Tua Tagovailoa. He's only averaging 14.1 fantasy points a game. He has had a few big games this year, but not many, and they really weren't like that big for a quarterback. He's got a great matchup though. So Washington's 28th against the quarterback and 31st against the pass, as we said. I guess just to put it plainly, Washington's defense is not very good. So with that said, we will move on to the Washington players. There's only a couple maybe, or a few, that I would play in this game. Marcus Mariota, playing for Daniels, who's out, averaging 12.6 fantasy points a game. So not a tremendous average. I will say his matchup is great. The Dolphins are 25th against the quarterback. I guess I shouldn't say great. They're 13th against the pass. And let's see how much Mariota has actually ran this year. So he actually had 5 rush attempts in week 10. He had 8 in week 8, 6 in week 3. So he's not afraid to rush. So that, I guess, could be something for him. But I don't like the 13th against the pass part, but I like the 25th against the quarterback. Overall, I think he's probably one of my preferred Commanders on this slate. Deebo Samuel, I would think would get a lot of usage, but he just doesn't have that great a matchup here, unless they use him as a running back. I mean, if they rush him, but he hasn't really had that many rush attempts this year on the Commanders. So don't think I like Deebo Samuel here. I really don't. I do like Krosky Merritt's matchup. He has not been producing fantasy points is the problem. Week 5, he had 31 fantasy points. Every other week, he's really only... Well, he really hasn't even done okay. I mean, in week 1, in week 3, he did okay. The rest of it, it's like you might as well not even play him. Putting up like backup running back numbers. But he's their starter. So, I do like him this week, and I think he's going to be the commander that I play, and I hope that he can produce points. I doubt that it's all on him. I think it's probably a team effort that has, produced a lack of fantasy points for him, but I expect him hopefully to do better this week. The Dolphins are 26th against the running back, 26th against the rush. I can see him having a good game here. Not far behind him price-wise is Chris Rodriguez Jr. I just prefer Krosky Merritt here. I'm not sure why Rodriguez is priced so high in this game. You see other running backs that aren't priced near as high. That's kind of interesting, but let's take a look at Malik Washington. I think he's worth taking a gander at. Washington is not the receiver Washington, but Washington, the Commanders, are 30th against the wide receiver, 31st against the pass, as we already said. So he's in a decent spot. He just hasn't averaged a whole lot, but he's had a double-digit game there in week 8. So I think he could be potentially a good player to pick this week. I think Zach Ertz would be a good pick this week. He's averaging 9.6 fantasy points a game, so nothing too tremendous, but the Dolphins are 29th against the tight end. So I think he's in a spot this week. If there's ever a week for him to do good, this is definitely one of them. Don't expect McNichols to do a whole lot in this one. He just hasn't shown me enough, I guess, for me to desire to play him. Patterson, on paper, he definitely has a good matchup. Washington's 27th against the kicker. He averages 7.2 fantasy points a game. I think he potentially could be a good play this week on a showdown slate. Kickers tend to be good plays on showdown slates. Don't think that I desire to play Matt Gay here. Dolphins are 18th against the kicker. But I just don't love the spot for him for some reason. He very well could get, 10 plus points this week. I just don't expect it. I don't really like the receiving matchups for Washington this week. I just don't. The Dolphins' defense put up 13 points last week, but I don't expect them to put up a whole lot against the Commanders this week. They averaged 4.9 a game. Don't expect the Commanders' defense to do very well either. They've been playing horrific the last 4 weeks. They had one okay game out of the last 4 weeks, but the Dolphins are 25th against the defense, so I guess that's something. I don't like it. As far as tight ends go, Dulcich is the guy to go with. I mean, for the Dolphins, that is. He's averaging 4.4 a game for him. Washington's 25th against the tight end. He's, I believe, listed as the number 2 tight end behind Julian Hill, but he's gotten more targets the last few weeks, so I don't think that's the case. I think Dulcich is the guy now as far as pass catching goes for the Dolphins. But then you have Ollie Gordon II. For some reason, I kind of expect him to have a somewhat bigger game this week. I don't expect it to be a big game. I just expect him to get more usage in a game that I expect him to have the lead in and probably maintain most of the game. I think Gordon could maybe get a goal line play that gets him a touchdown. I could see that happening. Then you got Robbie Chosen. I think is going to have to play again this week. He's been playing for the Dolphins. Hasn't really produced a whole lot, but he did get 7.6 in week 7. So I think that could be something if you need a cheap option. I don't like the matchup at all. I'm just throwing it out there in case you need a cheap receiver. But I think I would rather play Julian Hill at that point if you need a cheap option. He's not a wide receiver. He's a tight end, but I think I trust him more still. And then there's really just not a whole lot salary-wise that I like down here, guys. But just to throw together the lineup really quick, I got Achane. I like Waddle. Like Tua. I like Krosky Merritt. I like Dulcich next. The only player I would say I wanted to play Mariota possibly, but for salary reasons, Mariota and Zach Ertz. Those are the two that I would want to play, but for salary reasons I won't. Maybe Patterson as well, but like I said, we got to do what we can. Salary wise, so I think what I ended up going with is Gordon and then Julian Hill, and that gives you a complete lineup. Very heavy on the Dolphins, and then Krosky Merritt. But it's tough because I do want Mariota in there, kind of. I don't feel like I have to play him because he hasn't averaged a lot, but I really would like Zach Ertz in there. And I could definitely see the argument that Zach Ertz will get more points than Krosky Merritt, but I dig the matchup for Krosky Merritt, and I think he could have a good, really good week. So anyways, guys, I wish you the best. I'm going to try to hurry up and get the Sunday main slate up for you guys. I apologize. It's taken me so long just to get these up. I want to get them up by Friday every week, but it just didn't happen. So I appreciate you guys watching, though. Feel free to subscribe if you want to. And yeah, be blessed. I appreciate it.